back again, and I'm using Wayne's suggestion, which was to talk a little bit about celebrity and why we are in the position we are, where celebrity opinion and celebrity representations are everywhere. And, with Meghan Markle and the whole royal family kerfuffle, I guess it's really kind of jumped into the fore. And you got to kind of wonder, as everyone does, I guess, how it is that we end up in. And Wayne's point, Trump was part of that as well. People have a tendency, I think, in general, and it's been observed many times. It's like, people will put a microphone in front of a model, an actor, people who are wholly unqualified to talk on a subject, and ask them questions about foreign policy, the environment. Meanwhile, experts on the subject go begging for an interview ever. And it's, even in a situation, say, like with regard to climate change, you end up with, what's her name? Her name escapes me now, but the young lady from, I believe it's Denmark, not sure where, who was unfortunately trotted around to the UN and all over the place because of her massive concern. She's got Asperger's syndrome, and that manifests in some physical ways, into the round shape of her face and other things, but also obsessive behavior. And so for her, it became the environment. And she was a fairly eloquent speaker. Was she Swedish? Anyway, I don't know what, she's from somewhere over there. And, she was deeply affected by it, but ill-equipped to deal with some of the questions, and ended up, standing in front of the UN and scolding everyone. The "how dare you" line was used over and over again. And, Trudeau sat down with her. I mean, it's ridiculous that I think we would look to a young person like that with seemingly being used by somebody in the background. I don't know if it's her parents. I don't know. It's probably a combination of her parents and a bunch of other organizations as a means to garner attention, right? And who should we actually be putting in those positions? Well, it should be the experts, the people who've spent their entire lives studying the subject matter, and people who have then taken the expertise of those people and applied them to the economics of our situation and the effects on the environment of the various proposals. And, we come up with something that's workable and something that can actually be implemented. The kinds of radical changes that were being discussed by her team were, completely untenable. I think they wanted total conversion to solar and wind power by X period of time. And, there's a number of issues with it. And, I actually took a drive the other day down to Nanticoke, Ontario, where the old coal-fired plant was that was shut down in 2013. It was the largest coal-fired plant, I think, at the time in North America, if not maybe the largest in Canada. I'm not sure, but very, very large. And it's now windmills everywhere and solar panels all over the place down there. And it's, I guess, being used as a means to store. There's probably large capacitors in place of what used to be the coal-fired generators. And, it's being used on the grid locally. But as has been seen many times before, when the wind doesn't blow and the sun isn't shining, they aren't a source of power, and the capacitors that you use to store it will only last for so long. And so we do need the other sources, right? And so fundamentally, here I'm rambling as I always do, but we don't get the good feedback from these celebrities and new celebrities like her that are put in these positions. It's really unfortunate that they get used in this manner. And for someone like Meghan Markle, clearly did not really understand what she was getting into when she went into that marriage. And quite possibly with postpartum depression and feelings of suicide. I mean, there's a famous case of a woman whose specialty was postpartum depression. She was a psychiatrist, and after having been pregnant herself, threw herself in front of a subway in Toronto, unable to, she did not seek the help she needed, and rather, I guess she knew what she had, but she couldn't control it. So here are experts in the subject, and they can't control it. She could very well have been feeling a very severe case of postpartum depression, along with the craziness of life as a royal, and wasn't getting the attention that should have been getting. That's a tragedy. But any investigation into the life of a royal should have yielded a grave warning to anyone who would get involved in that world. It's almost surprising that she would have. I guess she must really like Harry. I hope she does, because it's never going to end for her. And being in California, it helps, I guess, a little bit. But the craziness that surrounds royals is certainly around Harry and his brother. To a large extent, it's a story that's too compelling for the crazed press in the UK and around the world to leave them alone. And just in general, though, I think people got to ask themselves. I mean, I have absolutely zero interest in what any of them have to say about just about any subject other than what's happening to them right now. I mean, how anyone could care, about what an actress, an actor has to say about politics or the environment or any major subject, just amazes me. That's the story that I always just flip over. I never read what they. It's almost always got zero. If it has some insight in it that's of actually any use, it would be one in a million. And and yet there they are, always in the front of the paper, or lead story on the news. And I guess it attracts the eyeballs. So there we are, stuck with it. But the Trump story is an interesting one too, because the people, it amazes me, the people who know Donald Trump the best, the New Yorkers who've seen his career, knew his father, knew the history. No one seems to listen to them and their opinion of the man. It is kind of amazing how that can happen, because if anyone knew what the guy was up to and what he was all about, it would have been them. It's amazing that people will see a man who portrays himself as wealthy. Whether he actually is or not is an open question. You can turn cash over, that's for sure, and he got famous. But whether he's actually got the millions and billions he says he does, I kind of doubt. He doesn't seem to be factual about too much. And they think, well, he should be able to run the economy. Like something as complex as the national economy of the United States and trade relations with all these countries around the world, and the interrelations between, we saw it in Canada, where he worked with us like he would with a trade union and a partner in a building project. He tries to throw pain on you to get you to acquiesce where he wants you to. It was a brutal renegotiation of NAFTA, and the way he just kind of turned on us that way, with no thought as to the repercussions and the needs of both sides. For him to think that he can just stop sending us the face masks during the COVID crisis, when it turned out that, of course, certain key components of the face mask, the cellulose that gets used to make them, comes from our softwood, a lot of it, right? So, whether those particular masks did or not is not really that important. It's like we got each other by the short and curlies. Us in the U.S., we are integrated, and to try and disintegrate us is a fool's project. So we are integrated. Let's try and make this as win-win as we possibly can. Whereas someone like Trump, he wins when you lose. That's his whole approach, and it doesn't work that way in international diplomacy and international negotiation. And we saw that firsthand, how bad it could be. So, celebrity. I think it's time we sort of turned on that to as much as we can. Start to reject everything celebrity. Don't want to hear from them. Don't want to see them. If you're a good actor, good. Go make a movie and act good, and then shut up. How about that? Anyway, it's been a long day for me. Went up north and found out that the power line into the place was yanked out by a fallen tree. So now we got to get that reattached before we can even use the place this spring. So, fun and games. So anyway, that's life, I guess. Complicated. So, but the vaccinations are happening, seems fairly rapidly. Those over 60 might be getting inoculated in Halton next month, so that'd be good. I qualify. Anyway, everyone have a good evening, and hope this finds you well. And we'll be talking soon, I'm sure. Bye.